welcome to Half the Battle.
Last week, I spent some time complaining about a bad reuse of a mold.
So today, I thought we could talk about an instance where it turned out good.
And we'll also be talking about one of the nameless, faceless Cobra troops, since it has been quite a while since we did that. So meet the Sub-Viper. This figure was released in 2001 with no original body parts. Oh, I'm sorry, I seem to have accidentally grabbed a knockoff Cylon figure from Battlestar Galactica.
What?
I have been informed this is in fact a G.I. Joe figure. Yeah, it certainly looks robotic, doesn't it? Even so, the mold this figure reuses was in no way a robot. In fact, it's a complete recolor of the 1991 Sludge Viper.
A figure whose day will one day come on this channel, believe you me.
But right now, it's the perfect example of a recolor done right. Look at the left figure. Now look at the right. This one sparks joy. This one does not spark joy.
But let's talk about the Sub-Viper itself.
It looks pretty damn cool. High-tech, futuristic, and even vaguely menacing. That last part is helped by the fact he looks quite bulky and tall. So yeah, I really dig the look. He's got two primary colors, silver and blue, and two secondary ones, red and black. And I feel this is just the right amount of coloring on the figure. Enough to look interesting, not enough to look busy.
There's plenty of excellent detailing too.
And some of it you may not notice or appreciate at first glance. The way the red of the visor is colored surrounded by silver paint is impressive, with no paint smudges to speak of. Same goes for the straps on the back and the lines on the upper arms. The mold itself is plenty detailed too, with gizmos on the upper gloves and both upper legs. Even the chest has it. Yeah, when it comes to the paint and mold, this is an impressive figure. Overall, the Sub-Viper is a great figure, and a real showcase for how good a mold reuse can be. And that was the only figure of the Sub-Viper ever released.
At retail anyway.
There was a second version released as a Collector's Club exclusive in 2015, though technically it's called the Cobra Sub-Viper, so one could make the pedantic argument it may not be a second version. At any rate, I don't own this one, so I can't really comment.
One last thing to note is that the Sub-Viper was a vehicle driver.
And he came with the Wave Crusher, a repaint of the Shark. But since I'm handling vehicles a little different from this year on, that thing will either get its own review, or I'll tackle it at the same time I look at the Shark. Being a vehicle driver also meant he didn't come with any accessories in this case, though there have been plenty that did.
With that, it's time to talk about the character, starting with the file card. And pretty much finishing with that too.
Let's start with the name, Sub-Viper. It's kinda lazy, isn't it? Think of previous Cobra naval troops. Eels, lampreys, hydrovipers, undertows. And now we get a Sub-Viper.
That's so unoriginal, it's just one step above Underwater Viper.
Plus, the name is a bit ambiguous, considering the term sub refers to a submissive person in the BDSM world. Something I'm sure Hasbro wasn't going for. You're welcome for this image, by the way.
Anyway, let's get to the text of the file card itself.
They have a branch, something you rarely see on file cards, and it's underwater demolitions. They also have training specialities. Pressure-sensitive breathing techniques, aquatic assault and firearms, hand-to-hand combat, and mine disposal. I'm assuming those are underwater mines. This is a departure from classic file cards, as all those things would normally be under primary and secondary military specialties. It looks kinda weird.
But I don't know, it's kinda cool that they did something a little different here.
They prefer spending their time in the dark, frigid ocean depths than on dry land, and are trained to remain motionless for hours. From that position, they can attack their target and be out of dodge in 10 seconds. Less if their target is G.I. Joe, since they're extra motivated against them. They're also experts at placing underwater mines. That seems to be the opposite of mine disposal.
But I guess that if you're an expert at removing a mine, you'd also be pretty good at placing them.
The best part is that after they place the mines, they pop up to taunt the Joes into chasing them so they get blown up. And the card ends on a horrible pun. They may be all wet, but that's when they're the most dangerous.
That hurt to repeat.
What's kinda weird and interesting about this card is that it doesn't mention the vehicle, the Wave Crusher, at all. Hell, it doesn't even say they are the driver, something that's normally right under the name in the top left corner. I mean, I guess it's implied they do all the stuff they do that was mentioned while inside the submarine, but it's never stated.
And honestly, that's a bit refreshing.
Too many times a file card for a vehicle driver will spend most of the text on the vehicle, ignoring the character. But here, the Sub-Viper got his fair dues.
So kudos for that.
One last thing I'll say is that there's a certain similarity between the Sub-Viper and Deep Six, as they both prefer to be alone underwater. Given that the Wave Crusher is a repainted shark, I don't think that's a coincidence. At the time, I don't recall the Sub-Viper appearing in cartoons since there were none, or the Image comics, so there's nothing to say there.
Which means we're pretty much done.
In conclusion, the Sub-Viper as a toy is a shining example of mold reuse done right, and makes for a pretty damn cool toy. The character, well, since they are a group of troops, we don't really get an individual to look at, but they seem like a good fit within Cobra. If you can find one, since they are kinda rare, I recommend putting it in your collection.
Well, I'll see you next time, everybody. And hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing?
Ugh, look at the state of my shark here. Damn, that's a sad sight. This is the one from my own childhood, so not like I want to get rid of it or anything, but I think I'm gonna try to get one that's aged a bit better. Sheesh.